Okay, so Streya, this VOD review is going to be explicitly for you. What we're going to do is we're just going to do, what's called a stream of consciousness. I'm going to watch you, see everything you see, and we're just going to go through this lane phase, and I'm going to try and give you as many individualized pointers as possible. Okay, the point of this VOD is to look at this game as if it were solo queue, look at your mechanics, look at your decisions, look at your builds, etc. Okay, so hopefully you'll find this helpful. Okay. So I mean, we talked about it before this game started. Irelia and Olaf, especially when he has Ignite, you're not really playing the game. So we're just gonna get up to 4 times speed. This is what I would do. You're just waiting here. Right, we're just gonna go. It. I'll try not to make it drag, but we're just gonna go through every single decision possible. Okay, this situation, if you see multiple people invade, and did we see Olaf on that invade? One, two, three, four. Okay. In those situations, if you see four maybe five certainly, you can just walk up here. You can walk up to throw a ward on red. You can throw a ward on raptors. You can walk up here. Even if you walk into Baron Pit and throw a ward up here when there's 4 or 5 people down here, that's the safest option. What this ward does is if their jungler, say, gets this and tries to rotate up or tries to rotate down towards Crab, that'll give you a little bit of vision in this very crucial intersection, and it'll just give you a little bit, your jungler, a little bit of more information. So when you see an invade, you can think to do that, and that's just something you develop with time. Okay, you're waiting to see. Yep. Okay. So the one thing I want to mention right from the start with Irelia, because this is a very core fundamental idea of the champion, right? Irelia thrives in situations where she has multiple low health targets. Okay, that sounds pretty straightforward. You're thinking, yeah, my Q. What the point I'm trying to say this is if you intend to fight somebody as Irelia, you have to do it in the wave. If you're 1 versus 1, it's very, very hard to fight someone as Irelia unless you're very far ahead. Straight up, no minions. Okay? Because think, you use your Q, you dash around, you dodge skill shots, you heal, you get stacks to your passive, right? So if I see you fighting this and you just try and straight up 1v1 somebody, that's one of those situations where understanding that core part of how Irelia works is going to get you pretty far. Okay, so just remember that. Um, Hold on, let's see. Corrupting pot to start is good. I'm assuming, yeah, okay. Conk, good. Triumph, good. Tenacity. Um, hmm. This could honestly probably be. The good thing for Irelia is that you can take pretty much any rune in those three. Tenacity isn't necessarily bad. In this lane, you might have wanted more sustain. You could have gone Bloodline. You could have gone uh, Bloodline or Alacrity. Usually, I don't take Tenacity on Irelia unless you're getting into a really, really brutal matchup. But the other thing to remember is that they just buffed the Resolve tree. So there's a couple of situations where Irelia goes Resolve now instead of um, I forgot what this tree's called. the blue tree. Um, so in those situations, you might want to consider going Resolve. Like in this situation, you can probably go like Bone Plating, and then the third row Tenacity rune. I've got a lot of love for that at the moment. If you see a lot of heavy AD teams and you can go Tenacity in your rune here, and then the new Tenacity rune in Resolve. That gives you almost as much Tenacity as if you had bought Merc Treads, and it'll free you up to take Ninja Tabby in some situations. So like versus Olaf, or maybe not Olaf, but maybe like Fiora or something like that. So these runes are completely fine, but I'm just telling you, like, there are a lot of options for Aurelia as long as you got the core ones, which is like Conqueror basically and Triumph. Um, so not a bad choice here by any means, but you can always think, be creative. Okay, yeah. Like we said, you don't get to play the lane in this game, to be honest. E level 1, good decision. Um, Farming with E and W is really, really crucial in some of the bad matchups as Irelia, so this is fine. Yeah, you're gonna give up CS, but honestly, Olaf doesn't get to play the game if he doesn't run you down. So I think whatever you have to do to survive and get through this lane is perfectly fine. Okay. Yeah, because his level 1 with Axe's Conqueror Ignite is literally just unparalleled. Okay, good. You ping that Mia really, really fast. That's good. That gives Complex really good time. We see Pantheon show up now. We know Olaf is missing. 900%, you know he's going to be here, right? We don't see him. We didn't see him actually walk into the jungle yet, but we can deductively reason that that's where he's going to be. Now, you have a lot of minions here, and he's already got 12 farm up on you, which makes this decision really, really hard, but you do the right thing. Right? In fives, as a top laner, your goal is to help people as much as possible, even when you're playing these carries, and you have a tank jungler versus Pantheon, you can assist him here. That's what you want to do. So good call walking down. Okay, now let's see. Yeah, you have E and Q. You have your core spells. So you don't have your damage negation, which in a Pantheon Olaf situation could be really, really helpful, but you took the right spells. Those are going to be your big budget. Okay? You walk into this situation, your Zack's already popped. Let's see what you do. The fact, oh, that did stun him. I was gonna say, two-person stun here, really, really clean. What this does is guarantees the Pantheon kill, and you still have the mark on him. Your Q didn't drop because you queued on the stun and queued for the kill. So you can still Q to him, you can start autoing him, because in this situation, right, you win. You have double buffs. You're, like, he is Q, but he has to retreat. And an Olaf that can't walk forward on you is infinitely less scary as Irelia, especially when he's not level 6. But I do think you end up killing the mirror. Yeah. He has no he has no choice but to basically die here. Really, really good. You weren't afraid to walk onto him. Good. That's one of the core things to remember, right? As Aurelia, there are some matchups that you can't win in lane because they do not retreat, right? Set is one of those matchups. Olaf is one of those matchups. Those champions' only goal is to run onto you and force you to retreat because Aurelia is not a very good retreating champion, right? If um if you play a lot of Irelia, you'll play the Irelia Fiora matchup. And the Irelia Fiora matchup is pretty decent in lane, but when it gets to late game and you're trying to side lane versus her, it gets really, really tricky because she's the better side lane champion, right? She has riposte for your 1 CC, and if she does it, Irelia has a really, really hard time winning that fight. She has her Q, which punishes her if she tries to retreat as Fiora, but you don't have a spell like that, right? Your Q doesn't work backwards, just at a less effective rate. Her ability does. The point of mentioning all of this is that Aurelia loses those straight up 1v1 matchups because she has no retreat tool, and Olaf is one of those matchups. If you're strong enough to force him to retreat, then you can start to win the matchup whenever you get that level of pressure. Okay. Mm, sorry, I was thinking. Okay. 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 So in this situation, Streya, your wave, in like you were trying to slow, or it looked like what you were trying to do was slow how fast you're gonna push. Here, let's just go back. Okay. You have 4 minions. You have 3.5. He is 2 and like 4/5. This lane's gonna push, especially because you still have a melee, right? No matter how slowly you hit this wave, it pushes out. Olaf was dead. What you need to realize in this situation is that you're not you're not going to slow this down enough to the point it's going to matter, right? The only way that you luck out here is if Olaf comes right back to lane and shoves it instantly, right? Otherwise, this wave, you're not pushing it fast enough to crash it, and you're not in a situation where it can freeze. So what that means is that your wave's going to get stuck here or here in this area. And what that's going to mean for you is that you're very prone to being run down, right? Because you didn't get it back in. You still only have your corrupting pot. He's coming back. We don't know that yet, but we can reasonably assume he's coming back with he has a kill. Maybe some item that's actually going to be assisting him in addition to his corrupting pot. Additionally, you can't push this wave out fast enough, or you weren't pushing this wave out fast enough. That gets you stuck here, makes you vulnerable for Pantheon ganks, right? You don't want this. Irelia is very, very specific about how she wants to control the wave. Irelia is a champion that moves forward, but not backward, basically. So what you want is you want a wave here. Like, if you can freeze a wave as Irelia, that gives you so much power, because you can dance around in these minions, go on to people, and they have all that room to die. Here, they have a lot less room, and then here, they have almost no distance to run, right? They don't have to go very far to get away. Okay, so remember, wave control in Irelia is extremely important. In these situations where you can't freeze the wave, and you need to get it back in, just crash, okay? Really, really important. Yeah, because like here, you're not shoving this wave out. This wave, no matter what you do, is going to push. The only way this doesn't push is if Olaf messes it up, and we can't reliably expect that to happen. Yeah, so your wave, again, is super huge. This situation, you just want to shove it, get to 5 stacks, and threaten him. Good, right? That's good. If you did that play, you went onto him there because you thought, okay, I have minion advantage, I need to crash this wave, I can threaten him. Good, right? Irelia excels at situations like that, right? You have lots of minions, you have lots of targets, you can get 5 stacks of your passive really, really easily. If I were you, let's see. You have 13, okay. You have 1400 gold. That is almost a cutlass. That's 200 gold short of a cutlass. But what that means is you get a vamp scepter, you get a longsword, you get boots, you get a pink ward. Like you have a lot of gold, right? Your goal here, huge wave. He will not be able, especially because you just chunked him. Your decision here is either play it by ear, try to get this plate back, or shove this wave back, right? Because you might be able to kill him. I don't. It doesn't look like you do, but you probably could. Yeah, because now you're giving me a little bit of anxiety. Um. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That. Yeah. Because what I see the murder in your eyes, right? I see the murder in your eyes. This guy is half health at most, and at some points less than a quarter. Um. This is where you're watching top lane like this, right? This is where you pan down here, and you do G down, right? Ping for assistance. Help, jungler. You can kill him. If Complex starts this, does Complex have passive? Complex doesn't have passive? I don't think it matters. You can definitely kill him. If you hit E, what's your E's rank 1? Okay, he takes probably 70-ish damage, 60-ish damage from E, right? He's at 300 health as long as Complex starts. You can double Q him, you can W, you can auto with your passive, you have a red buff. You can definitely kill him here. Solo, it's very, very risky because you're pretty squishy. Your W doesn't negate his true damage. You have to dive turret. You don't have any bonus items. Um, this is the situation, like I said. Push this wave up. Maybe go for plating if you can. If you can't, back. Or your option is call for complex because you can definitely kill him if it's a 2v1. You might want to get a little bit of vision first though because we don't know where Pantheon is, at least not imminently. But yeah, you You're doing this well. You just need to think a little bit. Yeah, because if you didn't W there, you died. You have to be really careful. Okay, it looks like you did call for complex. That's good. Yeah, you get it back in. You get Vamp Scepter Longsword. Boots. Ooh, what a good back. Wait. Only one way it could be better. Okay, it's not enough for pink ward. You're good. You're off the hook this time. Okay, you're walking back to lane. Okay, so I remember I talked about this before when I talked about TP to you guys. Here's the rules for Irelia, right? You want to use your first TP to get back to lane, right? I'm giving you my blessing. If you can use a TP to better control your wave, or to threaten a kill, or to threaten a dive back in lane, perfectly free to use it. From there on out, you want to look for teleports to your team, and then in the mid to late game, you want to use your teleport for splitting. Okay? Okay, you're walking into this lane. Let's see. You have Vamp Scepter, Longsword. So you have 106 AD base. You got boots. He doesn't have. He has boots. He's got components of Phage. You have components of Cutlass. Okay. You have lifesteal. He has innate lifesteal and W. Okay. What's his health? 1035. What's your health? 874. Taking this fight straight up is a little risky. Especially because Olaf is really, really hard for Irelia in terms of you can't block his W. So let's see what you do. I hate that. Okay. Oh. Okay. You just reminded me. Every time you use your E, I'm going to try and pause and look at it. There are times as Irelia where long E's are the decision. Like, if you're trying to farm in lane, you can do whatever length E you want. But when you go for fights, especially in the mid to late game where people get boots and people get really, really mobile, you're going to have to cut them short, right? Because Irelia E here to here takes a lot longer to stun than from here to here, right? That's okay, complex. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Ooh. Okay. If you trade ult for ult with him, that's perfectly fine because you win in a no ult situation. You're pretty strong. Okay. The other thing is if you have Vamp Scepter Longsword and those, sorry, this is like minutia of knowledge. Okay. 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 This minion, I'm pretty sure it's one tower shot. Yeah. Okay. In those situations, your Q does a lot of damage. So if a minion is generally like right around half-ish and you have a little bit of AD, you can generally just auto Q and it'll kill. But this is like those like CSing under turret as Irelia really is, as much as I hate to admit it, it's less of talent and more of muscle memory. So I think generally speaking, if you play a lot of Irelia and you perfect her, you're going to get to these you're going to get these easy, right? So that's one thing I just noticed. Just practice with the auto Q, because if you do auto Q on minions in your turret, you can get out like easy 200 damage, right? Even in at like level 1, 2, right? So yeah, just practice your farming. It's okay, especially because you want as much gold income as possible. And practicing farming is generally a good idea. Okay. He uses W. He uses Q. He doesn't have reset on Q. But he's probably maxing it. Ah, so you did it there. That minion was like low, but not low enough for you to kill. You did auto Q. Good. Okay. Your passive can trip you up sometimes though when farming is really okay. Okay. Um. Okay. Hold on. Okay. It kind of looked like you. Okay. This is fine, especially because you're going to screw up what he's trying to do, which is crash a huge wave. That's fine. That's your God-given right as Irelia. You get 1 TP to lane. Oh, good. You know he either backed or he's wanting to back, so you're shoving this wave. Good. Okay. What that does is forces him to stay when he doesn't want to, which means he's down items or he's down resources. It's good. Okay, you might get a plate. Yeah, you do. Okay. Actually, no. We're gonna save that tip. Okay. Hmm. I wish you would show me whose words are whose. Um, in my opinion, this word for you is a little weird. Because blue side Irelia words go, right? If you think you're going to get dived, you ward here. If you're playing up in the lane to about here, you ward here. If you're playing further up, which is kind of meh, you ward here, right? If you're worried about getting ganked through lane, you ward here. If you're trying to help your jungler, you can ward down here. This ward isn't bad, right? This ward isn't bad. It's weird for you, right? Because if you were playing Ornn, for example, and you warded here, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. You're helping your team a lot with this ward. But you're a carry, right? And I get to tell you this with great pride as a top laner who plays a lot of tanks. That's why. You're playing a carry, so you get to play a little bit more selfishly. You can use your pink ward to defend yourself. That's okay. Auto Q. Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. Real quick. Your W, really, really long cooldown spell. Here it says 20 seconds. Okay. Your W is basically only used for 2 points. Only 2 reasons. You either use your W in a trade. So if you have like downtime in a fight, that's when you use your W, right? Let's say you don't have cooldowns or you know you're about to get stunned, like you see Pantheon walking up to you and you're like, oh, he's going to stun me. You press W because W is one, going to lower the damage you take in the result of getting focused by getting caught by CC, or W is going to allow you to still put out damage, still hold your Conqueror stack, right? So that's how you can use your W. The other thing you can do is if you get like a first item or if you get a Sheen and you like tap your W onto a caster minion, you can generally one hit the caster after that. Okay, so you want to be using your W either to set up resets for your Q, which is one of the best purposes of it. I didn't want to go that far back. Okay, because you use it here. Watch what happens when you press W. These minions now, these minions are in Q kill range, right? That is the value of your W as Irelia. You can set up multiple minions at the same time to be in Q range. Okay, so if generally you have enough power to push a lane with your autos and Qs and resets, you want to hold your W because, right, if Pantheon comes up here now or Olaf comes up here now and they force a trade, you don't have that spell. So that this decision isn't like game breaking in and out of itself, but just remember thinking about like, okay, what can I use W for? Do I need to use it soon? And if okay, you see Olaf coming up, you go to challenge. Like if you went to up here to challenge him, that W would be really helpful. Is this where you ward? Now you're walking down to gank mid. Okay. Um, I think this play. I think there's a lot of value in this, to be honest. What you're doing is you're exerting pressure on the map. You're making Olaf feel a little less helpful. Because Like you might get like a hit on his turret, but the likelihood that you get a plate, low. No, it's pretty low. Um, Walking down like this is good. I like that. The long E's are okay out of vision. If you're going for an E on someone out of vision of them, then long E's are okay. But just remember, your shorties are really good. Okay. Yeah, you're okay. Your team is getting Herald. You just want to keep pressuring here, but you're fine. Okay. You go Bork first. Good. If you want anything else, I would call you contrarian. But I like the Bork here. It's easily the best first item on Irelia. Ah, look at that. You're farming like a champ. Okay, I'm sorry. I do have to. I wasn't trying to respond, but I'm going to respond to them real fast. Apologies. Okay. Sorry about that, Streya. Okay. Yeah. Um, Blade is basically the best first item in the game on Irelia. There are a lot of options for second items. Okay. Okay, I like that. Um, I like that. You're applying pressure. That's good. Okay. Now there's there's a couple of options here for a second item. But let's see how the game develops. Okay. So another thing I want to teach you as a top laner is that in these situations, right, you see Zac drop Herald bot. This means something for you. It means either A, Pantheon is going to counter him there, or B, Pantheon's going to gank you, right? We can infer this because Pantheon has to do something when the enemy jungler does something. He either tries to negate that something by showing up there and forcing it to stop, or if, and this is implying he's a good jungler, he's going to be looking at you, right? Because you're the opposite side of the map. He can get this play off because nobody down here is able to contest it. Okay? So that's basically what I'm teaching you right now is what's called playing weak side, right? Weak side is a term used in a lot of ways in League of Legends, but generally it's going to be about games where a top or a side laner won't have priority or won't be the focus of the game, right? If you're Ornn, you're almost always on weak side. They're not going to gank you. That is your team. Or you can temporarily be weak side, right? You're Irelia, you have no support, you have no wards to guard yourself at the moment. You're the weak side. No one is here to help you in the next 30 seconds. Okay? So knowing when you're weak side and knowing how to play weak side is really, really big. Okay. You're walking down. You're gonna take scuttle. Good. Okay. Playing a carry top laner, this is how you get advantages for yourself. You want to be looking at all times. Can I invade to get cams? Can I take neutral monsters? Can I even take some of my own camps? There are situations where you'll be top and you just pick up, um, you'll be playing top and you can pick up Krugs, you can pick up sometimes Grom. Finding all those little bits of gold for yourself is usually really, really big. Wait, hold on. Okay. Good. Yeah. saw Pantheon top just now, so we know he's looking at you. But Olaf is pretty strong. He's got tabbies, and he's almost got Black Cleaver. Even though Blade of the Rune King is probably a better item, Olaf is going to have a little bit more value out of these basic items at the moment. Picking up this early Executioner is really, really good, okay? Not including Conqueror. He is healing. And depending on what Ezreal builds, he can have healing, okay? Not to mention the fact they have Yuumi, and 3 of them have Conqueror. Lots of healing. Go to calling the Executioners. Irelia has a hard time building Executioners into anything, but it's good to pick up at least until other members on your team get it as a core item. Notably, Fortune can get it. Mordekaiser can get it in the form of Morello. Fortune can get it in the form of that armor pen item that I never build because I'm a top laner Smile. And your tank can get it in form of Bramble Vest. There's something to be said about getting Bramble Vest here as Irelia, but at least for right now, I like your Executioner's decision. That's easier for you. It's actually going to help you extend your lead a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
Blue team has slain the dragon.
You got Earth Drake. That's good for you. Makes you a little bit tankier. Okay, you see their junglers mid. Oh, that's so troll. Okay. Drop Drake Q there, but it's okay. Okay, I like this decision to push. Okay. Notice how the wave moved up a little bit there. Okay. I think you go second item Phage here. I think if I'm trying to remember this game correctly, I believe you either go Trinity or Black Cleaver second, which is good. They have a, you know, their team doesn't build a lot of resistances, but they can build a fair bit of health. And if you go like Blade into Wit's End, you're really squishy. So personally, I'm a big fan of Phage second item. If you're ahead, Trinity Force is really strong. If you're not, then Black Cleaver is always a pretty good item. And even if you get the two together, that's not a bad decision. Okay, hold on a second. Let's play that fight back. Okay, let's see. So, there's 4 of you. Okay, yeah, there's 4 of you. Your mid lane is bot with TP. You know Olaf is behind you. You know at least 2 of them are here. They're trying to threaten. 3 of them are here. They're trying to threaten your Herald. You have numbers advantage for right now. Olaf is flanking you. You know he's flanking you. As Irelia here, that's something important. Irelia is a very bad primary engage, right? You have no your E is extremely hard to hit aggressively, right? If you're trying to stun this guy over here with your E, you're going to have a very bad time. It's just kind of hard to do that. Now you can look for to open with your ult, but if Irelia ults, your only real option from there is to dash in. And again, dashing into Pantheon Ezreal Yuumi, that's pretty scary, especially when you only have Blade. Okay, you want to play with Complex, you want to back up his engage. You're what's called a secondary engage. So let's see what happens. Okay, that right there is your go button. You have it. You can drop Vanguard's Edge here. You get 1 mark, 2 marks if you drop it right here, going this way down, from the side. So that way. You get 2 marks there. That's 2 stacks of your Q plus 1 to 2 stacks of your passive from the R itself. This is where you go in. Okay. You get your Q mark. You got Vlad flanking over here, so that's these people are basically your second thought because you're trying to kill this guy ultimately, and whoever Zach hits first, which in this case is Pantheon. Okay. You didn't drop your Q there because you dashed to an armed target. He gets stunned and Pantheon gets stunned. That's good. You get the Q. Auto him down. Use W. Did you? Okay. He used flash there. Good. You assassinate the AD carry. You still have your Q. That's a good situation. You walk up to unite this fight, but Complex is out. You're not gonna do anything anymore without him. Even with him, it would have been really, really hard, especially because he was survived. You get the stun. Stun's good to help you get away. Good.
Blue team's turret has been
Yeah,
destroyed.
okay, I was talking earlier about Irelia doesn't have a way out. That is like your extent of retreat. If you're ahead of your of the enemy minions, then you can retreat. If not, you have a really, really hard time getting away from people because your only real ability to get away from people with is your stun, or if you're behind or ahead of the enemy minions. So just remember that. Okay. Let's see what you do. Yeah, this is where I think you get Phage. Yep. Finish boots, got Phage. You're looking pretty strong. Yeah, you're buddy buddy with Zach. I like the way you're positioning there. The other thing you can do, this is pretty tricky. This is easier to do if you're doing a TP. Um, is to look for a flank because if you show up behind Ezreal and hit him with an R, or if you show up behind, like they're clumped up here, show up behind him with an R, and your team is at least on the same page as you. That's really, really big from Aurelia's standpoint. You get like R, you get 3 marks, you get to dash around for freezies. That's your ideal. Okay. But buddying up with your junglers is also pretty okay. Now you get that was weird. It looked like it was moving. You get kind of the short end of the stick here. Complex is reviving. Influence goes to the Shadow Realm. You're left in a 1 versus 3 situation, which is really uncomfortable. You kind of get unlucky here. Um, let's see. How did that transcribe? So that comes over that wall. The 3 of you are on Olaf. You mark? Did you? I'm not sure if you marked him, but you didn't stun anybody for sure. Does Olaf survives? No, Olaf dies. Yeah, this is a brutal fight. Tombsby was separated. Okay. That's kind of a brutal fight. Okay. That was a really awkward fight because of how like 3 of you were here, one of them was here, one of them was here, they were down here. That was an awkward fight. Um, from a top lane standpoint, those kinds of fights, um, you would have been better off, to be honest, if you were up here. If you were up here at the time of that fight, you could pressure this top turret and then TP down. You would have been better off, right? That would either take somebody away from that fight, or you might get this turret, right? So you're ahead. Grouping is good, but do not underestimate the value of split pushing. Irelia is an insane split pusher, um, because your stacks don't carry against turrets; they'll drop off. But um, But yeah, there's value to it, especially if you can dance around your waves correctly. Okay, I'm gonna respond to you. Give me 1 second. Okay, we're Aurelia's mid to late game. You're an exceptional team fighter, but you're also very very strong in the side lane, especially when you're ahead. You can you can be threatening the side lane. Bot lane here is a very strong place to be for you. Yeah, cause look at that, dude. You absolutely dabbed on that kid, right? This kid got taken out back, um, because you danced around. You danced around the wave. You didn't let Olaf just run you down. Now, of course, you're getting the top lane special, but the 1v1 was good. You're trying to alcove game on them, but you don't really have much of a choice here. You just kind of die. 1v1 is good. It shows why Irelia is so strong in the side lane. Um, yeah,
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
this spot is purely for you, so we're just gonna jump through all this. Picking up farm wherever you can, that's good. You can collapse on Olaf here, that's good. Pick up an assist, easy for free. Now you can pressure Baron. You have TP, so you could theoretically also split push bot and pressure that. Which it looks like that's what you were thinking about at least. You can pressure mid turret, they'll get mid turret, that's also pretty valuable. You just wanna have pressure somewhere at the moment. Ooh. As soon as I saw the Vlad down here on the map, if I were you, I would just start walking. Because once you saw that Vladimir, you knew things were about to get bad. Yeah. Yeah, as soon as that Vlad showed up, I was like, I think I know how that goes.
Dominating. Red team has slain Baron Nashor.
Okay. Yep, you're gonna go top. You have TP. You can threaten to split while they have while you team this dragon. Okay. I think you have Trinity Gold, don't you? Yeah, you do. Okay. Okay, you're really strong. You're extremely strong in the side lane. You're strong in team fights. You're just good right now. Okay. Um, Vlad is, being honest, Vlad is kind of a weird matchup for Irelia. Irelia does pretty good in arranged matchups because your stun allows you to get onto them really, really easily. Um, Especially in the situations where you can get the first one behind them, in which case it stuns like 80% of the time then. Um, but in mid to late game, Vlad is really awkward for you to deal with. In lane phase, it's all right. Um, and you have a really awkward time dealing with cannon minion or Baron minions because it makes it really hard to get resets. So you're just doing what you can here. Yeah. The thing that could have made this game a lot easier for you is your ability to go bot lane while you were ahead in the early game would have been really game changing. Because you were really, really strong in the early game. If you went to the bot lane, you definitely were able to turn the tide of that lane. Especially because there are large swaths for this game where your TP is up. One thing I've noticed is that when I watch you play is that you generally don't TP to fights. Usually you walk to fights. And I think that rings true for this game. A lot of the fights you're in, you walked to, and your TP was up. So, just working on, not to say walking to fights is always bad, but you know, if you walk to fights, you're losing pressure. Up, okay. Call me a liar. You did it. Okay. Yeah, that's brutal to watch. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Okay. You see you see three people fighting, you don't have Jax. Jax has no way to get to the fight. Um, this is a 3v4 at best. Really, you have two you have one damage dealer, a tank, and a support here. So this is more like a, let's see, 1, 2, 3v2, not including supports. This I understand TPing here, but I feel like that's probably not the fight you want to take. Yeah, because you just can't do anything in this fight. You can't threaten anybody, even when you're ahead, and I believe that's just the end of the game. Yeah, I think that's just the end of the game. Okay. Oh, nope, go back. Okay. So something
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
XD. So something I want to see is if we go back to the early parts of this game. At this point, you're 2-0. When do you get your first back in? Okay. 6 minutes. You've TP up. Okay. Because I'll be honest, top lane is really, really good for having TP and competitive for its ability to affect the bot lane. No cap. So if you can get early ganks there, especially like at this point in the game, Ezreal's not strong, Misfortune's pretty strong, right? Jax is a CS lead. Um, he's playing a stronger early game champ. You have TP prio here. And you really don't want to be in this lane that much anyway. But look at this. You're in lane. You're just catching waves. Right? In the situations like right before this where you're full health, you have ult, and you expect to just be farming, you can look for TPs, right? You can look to TP bot, you can look to TP for drag. Um, if you're ahead as a top laner in the early game, it's a lot of pressure, but you have to be the go button. You have to be the one saying, I TP to this fight? Can I TP to that objective? And if you can't do that, then this is something we're going to try working on. This is going to be our big macro play focus is, um, do we take, I don't think we take Herald in this entire game. No, we don't. Okay. One of the big things I want to focus on is what's called an overwhelm play. Okay. And this is big for you specifically. What the overwhelm play basically consists of is your bot lane backs, right? Because Herald spawns at, wait, how do I, there's definitely a way to show timers. There. Okay. Herald spawns at 9 minutes. Wait, 8 minutes, that says. Okay. 6 minutes after Monster King was killed. Okay. Give me a second. Oh, wait. There. Okay. So Rift Herald spawns. Spawns at 8 minutes. And then 6 minutes after it's killed, it'll respawn. Okay. What the basic overwhelm play consists of is saying, okay, if we have a strong bot lane, like Misfortune Thresh versus Ezreal Yumi, at around 7 minutes, 30 seconds, 7:20, 7:10, that area, My bot lane's going to back, and they're going to come up top. Or, you can just send Tombsby, or you can send both if you want to make it a sure deal. And what you do is you overwhelm the top half of their map. That's why it's called that play. And you have 4 people for Herald. There's no, or 5 actually. You can have 5 people for Herald. There's no way that they challenge that. And what that means is you get Herald, okay? And you can do it again when it respawns, right? The overwhelm play is a tempo play, and top lane being strong makes the overwhelm play easier. And it doesn't just have to be Herald, right? You could theoretically overwhelm play Dragon if you decided to walk down. But the overwhelm play is typically used for Herald because you're bringing resources that aren't usually on that area of the map up. And what that means is it guarantees you the gold of getting it, getting able to push plates, whatever. So if you're top and you're ahead, my point here is you gotta be willing to push your lead. Okay, you want to get this first turret down. You want to be looking at um, camps. You can take away gold from the enemy jungler that's really big, set some behind. If you can solo kill, you want to do that. If you get because first tower is really important. One for top laners, it opens you up to take camps, right, like this or this or this in this situation, or it's for Irelia, it's really nice because it means if the waves appear, you have so long. You have so much room to chase people down. Okay. So first turret as an ahead top laner is a really big goal. Okay. This is a goal. This is a goal. And bot lane's a goal. You want to TP down there and extend your lead because you're 2-0. You're top dog right now. Right. You're the strongest person in this game. Okay. So I'm not, by no means am I saying this game is your fault, but the point of this VOD is to look at everything you did and what you could have potentially done in addition to that, right? Steal more camps, push this turret, have better side lane pressure, right? All of these things are what makes a top laner scary. And look, right? If we go to the end of the game, right before this final fight, despite despite being really far ahead in both kills and a little bit ahead in CS, you and Olaf aren't super far apart in levels, right? You're about 1 level apart, right? But he's died so much more. You had such a stronger early game, ironically. The reason why is because this man spent a lot of time in the side lane. He was farming, he was getting gold, and now, like, look, if we look at gold, he's about 1k down. He lacks 4 kills, but he's still pretty close to you in strength, right? Because you didn't side lane that much in this game. You did a lot of team fighting, which is fine, right? That's part of the way you can push your strength. But you didn't use your TP a lot in this game, and TP is really part of what makes top lane a role, right? You want to side lane because right now you're 2 levels over that Ezreal, but in an ideal world you could be 3. You could be, really big gap. So yeah, I think you played okay. You played okay on Irelia. You had a lot of really clean stuns. You had good itemization choices, in my opinion. Um, you did good, right? You did good. Um, but I'm trying to give pointers for what you can do even better. Okay,